नमो अरिहन्ताणं नमो सिद्धाणं नमो आयर्याणं नमो उवज्जायाणं नमो लोये सवसावूणम्। जय जिनेन्द्र सभी को। हम हमारे बेसिक्स बुक्स बाल बोध ऑलमोस्ट फिनिश कर रहे हैं और वी आर ऑन बाल बोध 3. दिस इज द बुक वी आर स्टडिंग राइट नाउ. जिनके पास फिजिकल बुक्स हैं वो निकाल लें और जिनके पास नहीं है वो होपफुली दे ओपन द electronic books. Okay. Who all has read the Bhagwan Neminath at home? I think I'd given that as a task to do.
Yeah, I've read it.
Good. Can somebody just say the story?
Okay, so it's a discussion between a brother and a sister, right? Where the sister has heard, right, about Bhagwan Neminath, that he had left his wife, right? Her name was Rajul, right, and had gone to the jungles, right? So, so basically, there is a response from his brother, right, as to what he had heard or what he was aware, right?
Okay.
So Bhagwan Neminath, right, did not marry, but he was betrothed, right, to Rajul, right, at childhood, right? And so the question of leaving his wife after marriage does not even come into picture, right? And basically, he was a prince, right? And when the marriage procession actually came, right, for Bhagwan Nemi Kumar, right, then he saw the sight of the poor mute animals, right, in the procession, right, and the selfishness and the cruelty of the world, right, making the animals, right, do all these things, right. So he developed that detachment, right, uh, and and he immersed himself in a supreme soul. तो इस तभी से वो दिगंबर सेंट तो थे ही, राइट, बट उन्होंने फिर सब राग और द्वेष को त्याग करके, राइट, जो भी एक्सटर्नल अटैचमेंट और पोजीशंस थे, राइट, उसका भी त्याग करके किंगडम छोड़कर, राइट, वो जंगल में चले गए, राइट, स्पेसिफिकली माउंट गिरनार में, राइट। इसलिए सभी को ऐसा लगता है कि उन्होंने अपनी वाइफ को छोड़ दिया था, लेकिन उनकी वाइफ जो राजुल थी, उन्हें भी पता था इसके बारे में, राइट, एंड वो भी जानते थे कि द्रव्य गुण पर्याय क्या होता है, राइट। तो उन्होंने भी अपना पूरा संसार त्याग दिया, राइट, और सब उनके पोजीशंस रिनाउंस कर दिए। उनके फादर ने काफी परसुएट किया, लाइक कन्विंस करने की कोशिश की, राइट, टू मैरी, राइट, बट वो नहीं मानी, राइट। तो फिर सिस्टर का वो कहना था, तो ये तो बहुत ही अनहैप्पी स्टोरी है, राइट। तभी ब्रदर उनको कहता है कि नहीं, राइट, कोई अगर पाथ ऑफ रिनंसिएशन, राइट, अपना राग द्वेष छोड़ दे, राइट, वो बुरा क्यों है। तभी सिस्टर ने कहा कि क्या वो अपने पापा के साथ ही पूरी जिंदगी रही, राइट। तो ब्रदर ने बोला कि नहीं, बेटियां तो पापा के साथ नहीं रहती है, राइट, और ऐसे भी उनको संसार में इतनी रुचि नहीं थी, तो वो भी, राइट, सब कुछ त्याग करके, राइट, तपस्या करने लगी, राइट, इन हर परस्यूट ऑफ द सोल, राइट। फिर थोड़ा डिस्क्रिप्शन आता है कौन थे नेमिनाथ जी। वो कजिन थे श्री कृष्ण के, राइट, और किंग समुद्र विजय की।
दीपाली, you finish the rest of the story, whatever उसके बाद में क्या बताया।
Yes. So as Amit was saying कि नेमिनाथ जी कौन थे, श्री कृष्ण भगवान के जो उनके चचेरे भाई कहते हैं, बट आई थिंक उनके बड़े पापा के बेटे थे नेमिनाथ भगवान, आई अंडरस्टैंड। तो उनकी जो माता थी वो शिवा देवी थी, और नेमिनाथ भगवान आगे जाकर आफ्टर दीक्षा वो 22वें तीर्थंकर बने हैं। अन्य तीर्थंकरों के समान उनका भी जन्म कल्याणक बहुत उत्साह से किया गया था और उनको शारीरिक बहुत बल था। दैट इज व्हाट ही वाज आल्सो नोन एज। उन्होंने अपना पूरा लाइक किंगडम एंड पूरा राजभोग एंड एवरीथिंग सब छोड़कर गिरनार की गुफाओं में उन्होंने आत्म साधना की। और आत्मज्ञान में उन्होंने अपना ध्यान लगाया और फिर उसके बाद में 26 साल के बाद आत्म साधन करने के बाद में उन्हें केवल ज्ञान, पूर्ण ज्ञान आफ्टर 56 दिन के बाद में हुआ, आफ्टर 56 days. So that is what happened. And then तदंतर करीब 700 वर्ष तक लगातार समशरण पूरे भारतवर्ष में उन्होंने किया और उन्होंने प्रचार किया जैन धर्म का। और उसके बाद में गिरनार पर्वत से ही 1000 वर्ष की आयु पूरी होने के बाद उन्हें वो सिद्ध भगवान बने।
So 2 corrections, अमित जी, आपने बोला था कि वो साधु पहले से ही थे, ऐसा नहीं था। वो साधु के बाद बने। He was obviously not साधु, बारात लेके जा रहे हैं शादी करने के लिए, तो ऑब्वियसली साधु नहीं थे, ठीक है। दूसरा, संसार से संसार में इंटरेस्ट नहीं होना, उसको तुच्छ प्रसाद समझना, उसको क्या कहते हैं? व्हाट वर्ड डू दे यूज?
वैराग्य।
No interest in the worldly affairs, right? उसको वैराग्य कहते हैं। संसार से what did you learn from this? उसको तुच्छ प्रसाद समझना। Who is this Mr. Dosi? Can you turn the videos on, please?
Ritu ji, okay, yeah, अभी म्यूट पर।
वो तो मैंने म्यूट कर दिया, बट आई प्रेफर इसीलिए अगर आप वीडियो ऑन रखें तो फिर then there's no distractions. Okay. So, देखो, why do these books have these kind of multiple different chapters? थोड़े स्टोरीज देते हैं आपको, थोड़े तत्व ज्ञान के चैप्टर्स हैं, थोड़ी स्तुतिज हैं। They have on purpose put this variety in these books so that your interest keeps up. If they only give you difficult tattva gyan chapters, it's kind of difficult to keep the interest up. So I don't know if you guys know, there's 4 types of anuyog kehte hain usko, where the knowledge is described. Okay, one is called Prathamanuyog. We'll probably get to know this even further, but I'm just trying to give you this ahead of time. Prathamanuyog is the stories. So everybody has different interests, right? Some people just like to read stories, and so the acharyas thought they will try to give the knowledge in all different ways. So no matter what your interest is, you're able to still get the knowledge. Prathamanuyog, Charananuyog, Dravyanuyog, and Karananuyog. Those are the 4 types, 4 ways the knowledge is distributed. Okay. So is primarily stories, examples of idols, good souls. So you can learn from their stories. What did they do? Were they in similar circumstances as you? What did they do when, circumstances, things unfavorable or favorable things happen to them? How did they react? Now,
so what is yoga basically, fundamentally? How would we define that?
It's a classification of how the knowledge is distributed, okay? Some books are, so for example, Charananuyog is how to do the acharan. Acharan means how should your behavior be. Now, in general, you would hear most of the sadhus, acharya, focus more on Charananuyog, which is, okay, do this, ye upvas kar lo, ye ambil kar lo, that type of knowledge primarily. especially in India. You go to a sadhu and they're more interested in telling you what type of tap you should do and stuff like that. Dravyanu Yoga is the core knowledge of substances. And Karnanu Yoga is the mathematics, the details of the way things are. So
Prabha, what does the word Anuyog mean?
Anuyog, trying to think what's the exact English translation. For now, let's put it as classification.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you the exact term, okay?
Which one?
Anuyog.
All right. So this is Pratmanuyog. Okay. So, and there is no, like, of course, Dravyanu is always important because that's the one that will tell you the characteristics of a soul, tattva, all those things. But sometimes people are not able to quite digest that knowledge. So then, especially like kids, you would start them with stories. Then you would make them memorize tutis and all those things, which is Charananu Yoga. And then, like, you can more describe things, even though everything pretty much goes simultaneously hand in hand. So I just wanted you to know why they've purposely put all these different things so they can keep your interest up. Okay.
Basically, different ways of knowing, right? Different ways of teaching, different ways of knowing.
And also, it's many times it's the same material, and they're just trying to get you through songs and pratnas and stutis and stories, and everybody sticks to different things.
Right? I mean, even if you go in the education system, they teach you that, you know, different people learn in different ways. Some learn from hearing, some learn from seeing, some learn from experimenting. There's, you know, all different human minds learn differently. The same way, because we have different interests, the knowledge application is distributed in four different ways to express it.
Auntie, can I just ask one clarification about Bhagwan Neminath's story? So I'm assuming that there are slight variations depending on, because I remember hearing the story. Here it just says that he was in his Bharat, he saw the poor mute animals. But मैंने पहले story सुना था कि he saw all the animals that were being prepared for his food for the wedding feast. Yeah. And that's so just small differences, but I'm guessing depending on who's telling, and there can be slight different variations in the stories.
With stories, what happens is the stories are written to give a message. That's the primary goal of a story. Now, obviously, these things actually happen way back, many, many years ago, when we were not there, right? So these are coming down from word of mouth, and then they're written. So today, also in today's times, if you write a paper on a topic, another fellow student writes, everybody writes, everybody has their own experiences, their own perspectives. Okay. So the minor differences in the stories can happen. Some people wrote that because these animals were going to be killed for his wedding. Something that no, if he was that highly reached that he had no interest in the world, and it shouldn't be like that, that these animals were going to be killed for the wedding. They think that, let's say, with this pomp and noise and the Bharat is going, and like, have you seen in India, you have these herds of cows or bakri वगैरह को चराने के लिए ले जाते हैं, and let's say they were crossing the road. Now, with that noise, they were very disturbed, और सब इधर उधर होने लग गए. तो उनको भी देख के, you know, he would feel कि it's all because of my Bharat, this is happening. So that could also, I mean, person who is reached, even a little bit of nimit is good enough to get him to the Vairagya. Okay?
Right. उनका समय आ गया था और वो एक छोटा सा निमित्त था.
क्या बोलो, yeah, right. So the point the story is trying to make is कि उनको वैराग्य हुआ. Now how, कैसे हुआ, थोड़ा बहुत इधर उधर है तो भी चलता है. ठीक है ना? Okay. Now, anybody did not understand any part of the story? So now this moral of the story is कि पहले तो नेमिनाथ जी को वैराग्य हुआ, वो चले गए for his soul, but his would-be wife was also so committed, even though they had not married, but she was committed that this person was going to be my life partner. If he is going to this good path, she also felt like following the same path. So she also went with him. Oh. And then so they talk about the compassion, the thought of compassion, not even to disturb the animals, that why to disturb them for my Bharat procession. Okay. So in fact, today people are not as in fact India में अभी मैं हूँ तो यहीं घर के पास में there is some marriage hall, right? So every so often you will hear all these loud barat things. Nobody's bothered that they're disturbing other people's lives. So that happens in India. And then so with Atmabal, obviously वो तो ठीक है, these are side things, that he was also very strong physically and all those things. And सिद्ध क्षेत्र कहलाता है वो तो मतलब because they are वहां से वो सिद्ध हुए, इसलिए उसको सिद्ध क्षेत्र कहते हैं. So now we will read this Jinwani Stuti. Anybody knows the tune of this? Can anybody read? So why do we do this Jinwani Stuti? This is to appreciate the Vani जो भगवान से आई और हमें उसके कारण ये ज्ञान मिला है कि हम ये कर पा जान पा रहे हैं, right? So again this is more like a parampara thing, right? I don't think Shvetambars have much of the Jinwani Stuti, at least मैंने तो नहीं सुनी है इतनी. This is more I've heard from the tell me if you know any different. Achha, one more thing I wanted to share with you is Dinesh ji जैसे आप पूछ रहे थे ना आगम and all. So आगम बहुत सारे होते हैं, whether it is श्वेतांबर परंपरा or दिगंबर doesn't matter. आगम में सब तरह का knowledge आता है. You will get Jain geography, you will get Jyotish Vidya, you will get medicine Vidya, all kinds of stuff, because Bhagwan had complete knowledge. So all types of knowledge came through him. But what we are going to study in this course is what came from Param Agam. Now, out of all those Agams, only the spiritual knowledge related to your soul, is what is in Paramagams. And that is why this course is called Paramagam course.
तो क्या द्रव्यानुयोग परमागमी होता है?
That is what I'm saying. Dravyanu is the primary focus of Paramagam.
Okay.
So this is why we won't get to hear like a lot of other fluff or a lot of side things, which are part of Agams, but we don't focus on that. All right. So let's read this Stuti and usko fir hum meaning bhi padhte hain. वीर हिमाचल ते निकसी गुरु गौतम के मुख कुंड ढरी है. So in similar tune, who can read? Safalta, you want to try to read? Do you have the book?
She's on mute.
She's on mute.
Hopefully, yeah. Okay, somebody's sharing. That's good.
So is it from the PDF which one is shared
Yes,
today?
this is the PDF. Of course, hopefully you all have ordered the books and you should be able to have physical books now. But if you don't, then read it from this PDF.
One more time, please. Can
हाँ,
you sing it?
वीर हिमाचल तै निकसी गुरु गौतम के मुख कुंड धरी है. So now you read the next line. मोह महाचल.
महाचल भेद चली जग की जड़ता तप दूर करी है. ज्ञान पवि माही रली बहुभंग तरंग निसो उछरी है. ताशुचि शारद शारद
गंग नदी प्रति
मैं अंजुलि कर शीश धरी है. या जग मंदिर में अनिवार अज्ञान अंधेर छयो अति भारी. श्री जिन की धुनि दीप शिखा सम जो नहीं होत प्रकाशन हारी. तो किस भ्रांति पदार्थ पांति कहाँ लड़ते रहते अविचारी. या विधि संत कहे धनी है जिन वैन बड़े उपकारी.
तो ये जो है लिखी हुई तो सॉर्ट ऑफ हिंदी में ही है, पर थोड़ी सी डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ हिंदी, राइट? सी, हिंदी, मारवाड़ी, गुजराती, all the languages, they have so many dialects. Every region you go to, थोड़ा सा वो फर्क हो जाता है how they speak. So this is some different dialect of Hindi. Some dialects are still existing. Some don't exist anymore. They were used in the past. And, since we are reading things that were written in the past, we're going to be way. So, okay. So let's read the meaning now. Rituji, do you want to read that?
I cannot find the PDF. Just now, whatever I sent, I cannot find this.
Amit will share in a minute. Okay, just hold on. Go ahead now, you can read.
ये जिनवाणी की स्तुति है. इसमें दीप शिखा के समान अज्ञान अंधकार को नाश करने वाली पवित्र जिनवाणी रूपी गंगा को नमस्कार किया गया है. जिनवाणी अर्थात जिनेन भगवान द्वारा दिया गया तत्वोपदेश, उनके द्वारा बताया गया मुक्ति का मार्ग है. हे जिनवाणी रूपी पवित्र
But there's a p in between. Tatvopadesh.
तत्वोपदेश. हे जिनवाणी रूपी पवित्र गंगा, तुम महावीर भगवान रूपी हिमालय पर्वत के से प्रवाहित होकर गौतम गंधर के मुख रूपी कुंड में आई हो. तुम मोह रूपी महापर्वतों को भेदती हुई जगत के अज्ञान और ताप दुखों को दूर कर रही हो. सप्तभंगी रूपी न्यायों की तरंगों से उल्लसित हुई ज्ञान रूपी समुद्र में मिल गई हो. हे पवित्र जिनवाणी रूपी गंगा को मैं अपनी बुद्धि और शक्ति अनुसार अंजलि में धारण करके शीश पर धारण करता हूँ. इस संसार रूपी मंदिर में अज्ञान रूपी घोर अंधकार छाया हुआ है. यदि उस अंधकार को नष्ट करने के लिए जिनवाणी रूपी दीप शिखा नहीं होती तो फिर तत्वों का वास्तविक रूप किस प्रकार जाना जाता. वस्तु स्वरूप चरित्र ही रह जाता. अतः संत कवि कहते हैं कि जिनवाणी बड़ी ही उपकार करने वाली है, जिसकी कृपा से हम तत्व का यही स्वरूप समझ समझ सके। मैं उस जिनवाणी को बारंबार नमस्कार करता हूँ।
अब म्यूट पे बोल रहे प्रभा जी। नहीं, अभी अभी भी म्यूट में ही है।
Okay, sorry. Okay. तो ये जिनवाणी स्तुति है. Okay. आजकल, if you notice, there's this thing about gratitude, right? You should have gratitude towards whatever you have, or be towards people, this and that. So this is sort of like a gratitude, right? तो यहाँ क्या बता रहे हैं कि ये जिनवाणी की स्तुति है, मतलब appreciation of the जिनवाणी. इसमें दीप शिखा के समान. दीप शिखा क्या होता है? Anybody knows? Deep means diya, lamp. Shikha is the, right, wick or light of the deep, right? So deep shikha के समान अज्ञान अंधकार. अज्ञानांधकार है तो we divide it into two words, अज्ञान and अंधकार. तो ये जो जिनवाणी है वो as a torch light अज्ञान के अंधकार को नाश कर देती है. ठीक है. और पवित्र जिनवाणी रूपी गंगा को नमस्कार किया है. Why they are so whenever there is a poem, तो हमेशा there is like a what do you call comparison to something. So any river, it starts from somewhere and then flows on, right? तो इसलिए उसकी उपमा दी है. They are comparing it with a river. So जिनवाणी, जिन कौन होते हैं? हमने पढ़ा है ना शुरू में.
जिनेश्वर भगवान,
जिन्होंने इंद्रियों को जीत लिया, राइट? जिनेंद्र भगवान. तो जिनेंद्र भगवान के मुख से जो निकली, where did it start from? Today the knowledge we have, where is it coming from? Who was the last Tirthankar?
महावीर.
हाँ. So for us, we are in his session. शासन कहते हैं हिंदी में. So because he was the last Tirthankar. So जो उनके मुंह से निकला वो आज हमारे बुक्स में और सब जगह है. तो क्या कहते हैं कि महावीर भगवान के मुख से जैसे कि गंगा शुरू होती है कहीं ना कहीं से, वैसे ही जो ज्ञान है वो तीर्थंकर महावीर भगवान के वाणी में आया. ठीक है. और क्या आया? तत्व उपदेश, तत्व का उपदेश. You guys should write notes, and if you cannot write notes, at least write the words I'm explaining in your books if you have physical books. और उनके द्वारा बताया गया मुक्ति का मार्ग, because that is the most relevant thing to us, even though और भी बहुत सारी नॉलेज आई उनके जिनवाणी में, पर हमारे लिए क्या रेलेवेंट है? मुक्ति का मार्ग. ठीक है. तो वो जिनवाणी को कह रहे हैं कि हे जिनवाणी रूपी पवित्र गंगा, तुम महावीर भगवान रूपी हिमालय, दैट इज मीन्स द सोर्स, भगवान का भगवान से सोर्स है इस जिनवाणी का. फिर क्या हुआ? भगवान के मुख से निकली. जो गौतम गंधर्व थे उन्होंने, लाइक आई हैव एक्सप्लेन टू यू बैक देन, गंधर्व वगैरह को हूबहू जैसे वो नॉलेज निकली उनको ऐसे के ऐसे याद रह जाता था विदाउट एनी डिस्टॉर्शन.
तो आंटी आपने बोला तत्व उपदेश, so it's the teaching of the तत्व का exactly क्या how do you
तत्व का, I think we did a chapter on तत्व, right? Or maybe we didn't, then it will come in वितराग विज्ञान. तत्व जो 7 तत्व होते हैं, did we do that?
Not
जी,
yet.
उद्गल, आश्रव, बंध किए ना?
वो तो
किया.
Right. So वो, that is तत्व.
So is तत्व and द्रव्य synonyms?
No. What are the 6 dravyas?
Pudgal, Jeev, Akash, Kal, and Dharmastika and Adharmastika.
Right. वो 6 द्रव्य हो गए. 9 या 7 तत्व है
हमने नहीं किए वो.
like Ashrav Bandh, Samvar Nirjara, and Moksha.
Okay.
A part of Ashrav is Punya and Pap. तो श्वेतांबर परंपरा में 9 तत्व कहते हैं और यहाँ 7 तत्व. They both have the same. I mean, Digambars, they call it 9 पदार्थ. श्वेतांबर 9 तत्व कहते हैं.
So dravya is substance, but how will we
Drava is
translate?
substance. Right.
And tattva you would call what then?
Principles. Or even there might be a better word. Actually, I think we should do this. When you guys, when we do class, somebody keep the English PDF open also. You guys do have English PDFs too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it'll like just be faster. That way we can refer to what term we used, because there are so many ways of explaining English. And in the translation team, we have selected the most appropriate word. And again, it may be most appropriate, but sometimes you cannot have an exact translation of certain words. And that is why we try to teach you the Hindi words that don't have an exact translation, or the words that are the Siddhantic, the principal words. We don't want you to speak in English. You should learn, like guru word, right? Guru, everybody now understands. Even English speaking people understand what is guru. Same way, in our translations, we are trying to do tattva, samyak darshan, those kind of words. We want to keep them intact, even though we may speak in English. Okay. So in the English translations, actually, I do want you to read each of the chapters that we are doing in Hindi in English. The reason being, because we've just done this translation work, and we are not printing these books purposely, so that way, in case we need to do any editing. So we want you guys to read these chapters in English and give us a feedback. Do you understand those clearly? Can we improve it in any certain way? Is it confusing? I need that kind of feedback. Okay? Now, तो अब महावीर भगवान का वो बता दिया. फिर क्या बताया कि तुम मोह रूपी महान. सो तुम मतलब किसको बोल रहे हैं यहाँ पे? जिनवाणी को, राइट? जो स्तुति उन्होंने लिखी उसको, कि जिनवाणी मोह रूपी महान पर्वतों को भेदती हुई जगत के अज्ञान और ताप दुखों को दूर कर रही है. So this is a poetic language, right? कोई भी स्तुति होती है, भजन होता है, तो उसमें poetic language में थोड़ा बहुत flowery things बोलते ही हैं. So, actually, obviously, जिनवाणी is not a thing कि वो इस तरह का कुछ हो रहा है, पर्वतों से आ रही है. But there again, lot of comparisons कि मोह रूपी पहाड़, right? तो उसको भेदती हुई, मतलब you're destroying the moh of people, because those who read the knowledge, their attachment would diminish. और अज्ञान और ताप दुखों को दूर कर रहे हो, right? So the more you understand the जिनवाणी, आपके अज्ञान दूर होता है, and और जो दुखों का, general miseries are also reducing, because now you have the true knowledge of the substances. अब सप्तभंगी, that's सप्तभंगी रूप नयों की तरंगों से उल्लसित हुई. Saptabangi is lot of viewpoints. It's a complicated system, but this is something we will study in the later years. और वो क्या बोल रहे हैं कि the way this knowledge is coming, it is explained with all the viewpoints, why certain things are explained in a certain way, with all the details. So that is where the Jainism is different, that it explains whatever it says, the reason behind it. See, normally when we communicate, what happens is we can only speak one side of a complete truth. And then we don't explain what side are we talking about. And that's where all the arguments or confusions happen. So the Saptabhangi is a system where it explains to you how the Jainism, Jain knowledge is described. And once you understand that, then you understand why in the Shastras what is said with what perspective. Okay, so that's all I'm going to explain right now until we get to that topic when we study in class.
So is it same as the Anekantvad?
Similar, yes.
Similar.
So Anekantvad means multifacetedness. And Syadvad means that you are talking with a certain perspective. You can only speak one point of view at a time. So they
So one
say
facet.
it is impossible to speak all facets of a truth. So I'm speaking this particular facet of the complete truth. Versus other religions will speak one facet and call it the complete truth, which is sort of what we all do when we talk, right? Whenever we're in a social discussion, we actually can only speak one point of the complete truth. Okay, so one person is speaking this perspective, another person gets hold of this perspective, now they're arguing. Now, both the things exist in the complete truth, but they're arguing of two different parts of the same wheel. And Jainism will say, okay, no, both are true. This is true with this perspective. This is true with this perspective.
Auntie, when you say the Saptabhangi, is it like, so when you're reading, for example, Hindu scriptures, Vedic scriptures, there's a process of exegesis, how to read those scriptures. Or usme aata hai fir arthavad, abhyas, repetition.
No, that's not what this is. When we come to it, you'll understand.
Okay.
I mean, this is not a topic I can discuss at this point.
Okay.
All right. No, it's not that though, just to answer your question. Okay. So then they're saying ki aisi pavitra jinvani, that this pure knowledge that is coming to us. Rupi Ganga ko main apni buddhi aur shakti anusar. So what they're saying is that me, who doesn't know much, I will try to, as much as possible, embrace it based on my knowledge and my capacity of understanding. Okay. And I give it the utmost respect. वो शीश पर धारण करता हूँ. What do you put on top of your head? Something that you respect a lot. So then it says, इस संसार रूपी मंदिर में. So in this world, there is so much agyan is lack of knowledge. So that is compared with darkness. There is so much lack of knowledge in this mundane world, material world, that to destroy that darkness of lack of knowledge, this Chinvani is serving as a lamp. Right? If there's a dark room and you put a little lamp, what happens? The darkness is gone. So the author is comparing the Jinvani with the lamp. That when I study the Jinvani, my darkness of the lack of knowledge is going to go away. I'll be enlightened. That's the thought behind this. So if this knowledge was not there, how would we understand what is the truth? What is the truth of the tattvas? What is the truth of the dravyas? And how would we have understood this whole universe? So if this knowledge was not there, Vastu Swarup means the nature of things, would have remained avicharit. Nobody would have thought about what the true nature of things is if the Jinvani did not exist. And that is why the Sant means sadhus or kavi who write these poems, they say कि जिनवाणी बड़ी ही उपकार करने वाली है. It is very beneficial to humanity, through which we are able to understand the true nature of things. And that is why मैं उस जिनवाणी को नमस्कार करता हूँ. So that is, at the end of that, you're showing gratitude towards the जिनवाणी.
There's a word used, Vastu Swarup. Is that referring to Tat or Dravya or something else?
Swarup is nature of things.
Nature of
The
things.
nature of all the dravyas, all the tattvas. True nature of things, right? To know the things the way they are.
So वस्तु और द्रव्य एक ही होता है कि अलग-अलग होता है?
Vastu means anything. Remember vastutva gun हमने पढ़ा था? तो maybe नहीं पढ़ा होगा. I don't remember if it
पढ़ा
is.
था वस्तुत्व था, द्रव्य में वस्तुत्व.
Okay. Vastutva means pana. Like, what example can I give you? Uska पीलापना. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that is the nature of it.
Okay.
Now it can be used for dravya, it can be used for tattva. Tattva is a common term used for that pana word, the nature of it. So nature of anything. And vastu is a generic term for tattva, dravya, everything.
Okay.
All right. So we finished now all the three of these Balbodh 1, 2, and 3. Primarily, these were just precursors. Now we will start the actual syllabus, which is from Vitrag Vigyan 1. So should we move on to Vitrag Vigyan 1? And that is this book.
Yep.
So if you guys have not ordered the books and you are sure you want to be in this course, then try to order them as soon as possible.
And also just letting people know, you can print them also from the syllabus that was given at the beginning.
Right. These
So all
books
the
are
books are
small enough that, yeah, if you have a printer at home, just go ahead and print them. There are very few pages. So
And also, Auntie, I noticed that the one I got is different than the one that's linked because that one has been retranslated, right?
yes, I may have an older version of it, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
So Dinesh, do we have these PDFs available for?
They were in
not
the.
everything is available. It should be in that folder that is shared.
There's a syllabus that was shared at the beginning. I don't.
And all that is so. Start getting used to going to the description of the group. Description should have all that information, where the books are and everything. And if it is not in there, Amitji, please see to it that that's all part of the description. So then
it is there.
Again and again.
I'll just say what is the exact name. It is the latest syllabus with links October 2023.pdf. You will see under the documents docs tab, right, in the media links and documents of that WhatsApp group.
Actually, in some of my other classes, I've made that document as the DP of the group. So this is there. So if you know how to do it, go ahead, do it for this course also.
What I see is the beginning of the chat when I joined, those PDFs are posted both Hindi and English for part 1, 2, and 3.
I cannot hear you guys. I don't know why. Either you're not close to your microphones.
So Arun Bhai, those are the actual book PDFs. There's a 1-page syllabus. और उसमें सारे books की listing है, and the links are there that you can go to the PDFs of all of those books. So you may not have that one.
Let me send it again right now in the group.
Yeah, maybe it was posted before I joined the group.
Amitji, no. We don't want to get used to spoon feeding everybody. Everybody should know how to go to the description and find that link. It just be posted in the group again and again.
This book is only Hindi version, am I correct? There's no English version of this book.
Which one?
The one which we will be starting now?
No, there are both versions. English one. Let me send something in the group right now. I think everything will be clear.
You can share that spreadsheet.
Yeah, that's
right.
what I'm doing.
So people know what.
Right. Okay, I've just sent a PDF which the title is Latest Syllabus with Links.
So just share
Inside
it,
it, there are links.
read it.
Share it here. Okay. So if you go to, I can even show the WhatsApp. Give me a minute.
Do you have it open, Amitji? You can share it if you want.
Vitrag Vigyan Patmala?
No, the syllabus, that spreadsheet.
Just
So I can explain how to read it, you know.
yeah, just a minute. I have it. Give me 1 minute. I'm just getting it.
And like I said, if you're able to make it as the DP of the group, then it's always handy, you know.
Yeah, I'll try to do that.
Okay.
It is there in the description. In the
So
group, if you go to the files, it is there. I mean, I shared the screen in the chat.
Okay,
Yeah.
now we are looking at something that is being shared. Okay, so now let's go from left. Okay, do you guys see the columns here? Okay, this is year, semester, subject. So we are in year 1, semester 1. Semester 2 will start end of July. So this is a whole list of all the books that you will study in the 5 years. Okay. So you can look which year, which semester, what books you would study. It will, so this is all the way to down to 10 semesters. Okay. Now you keep moving right. So this will tell you paper. What paper means is we have 3 exams each semester. So when this is for you to know, like paper 1 is going to consist of these 2 books, which is Vitrag Vigyan Patmala 1 and Namokar Mantra Ek Anushilan. Now, somewhere it should say, and I don't, yeah, it does. Okay. Wait. Let's see. Can we expand it further? Can you remove this left side column, Amitji?
Just a second. Let me do it on the PDF one. Give me 1 minute. Share again.
That way you would have learned how to read it once, and then every time you need it, it'll be easier.
Yeah. Zoom.
Yeah, now if you can zoom it a little more, yeah, that's good. Now can everybody read it better? Okay. So if you notice, look at this thing. In the second book, Namokar Mahamantra, Ek Anushilan, it says self-study. So every semester you will have a couple of books that are self-study. That means that they're very easy to understand. So we are not going to read it line by line in class, but normally the teacher is not required to do anything with those. It's simply self-study books, but I usually will make you guys summarize like we summarized today, Neminath Bhagwan's story. Same way for these books, we will distribute a few pages each student and we'll summarize. And then if you guys have any questions that you didn't understand, we'll do them in class. Okay. So paper 1, exam 1 is going to be with these 2 books. With the same paper 1 goes assignments, which is you write summaries of these 2 books. And that is why I say the sooner you do you're going to be staying up with the thing. Otherwise, if you leave end of the semester to write all the assignments, summaries, then it gets to be overwhelming. As we go along, you know, either you write it in class or you go after the class on a Sunday, Saturday, whatever, you read that book in English or Hindi, and you can write the summaries in whichever language you prefer. Then exam 2 is going to be with Vitrag Vigyan 2 and Shakahar, those 2 books. Then the third one is Vitrag Vigyan 3. So that's how each semester will be divided into 3 different papers. Now, these exams are going to be, what do you call, multiple choice, true, false, objective type. They're not going to be long answer type of exams. Okay. And then the only long writing is going to be the assignments. And then there is something called LCPA, life changing, what does PA stand for? Basically, they'll ask you, give you a case study and ask you questions on it. That comes at the end of the semester, because we are trying to make sure that you understand this knowledge and are able to apply in your life. So that's why these things are designed. And they really don't take that much time if you keep up with the system and don't accumulate work towards the end of the semester. Okay. Now, with it goes the 3 different columns of languages and which PDFs of all the books. So some books are available in all 3 languages, Gujarati, Hindi, and English. Some are not available in English, as you can see, because we are still on that project where we're trying to translate one by one these books in English. The course was not offered in English in the beginning. We have recently started that. But a lot of, even same thing in Gujarati. Hindi, everything is available. English and Gujarati, not everything is available. So that is the reason I try to make that as the Hindi as the primary language, but then I can always explain in English, because most of the books are all in Hindi. Some are available in English and some are not. And we will keep translating more as we progress. But when we offer the English course, we give you the liberty to take the exam in English, do the assignments in English, and be able to understand in English. Okay. So is everybody good with this PDF? How to read it? So anytime you have a question, or what are the books we are going to cover in this class? What are the exams kaise hoga, kaun si book ka hai? All those questions are answered in this spreadsheet. Am I clear on that?
Yes.
You can save it in your personal folder somewhere, so you don't have to keep asking in class. Or if we make it the DP, then it's always available to you. All right. So now we'll go to the BB3 Jan book. So today I will start from chapter 2, because chapter 1, usually beginning or end of the book is always a stuti or a prayer or something like that. So since we just read a stuti, let's do the chapter, a couple of chapters, and then we'll come back to the stuti. So let's open chapter 2. Okay, when we open this way, it's kind of difficult to move it around, but it's okay. Abhi koi choice nahi hai. Can everybody read, or is it too small? Amit ji, you might have to adjust the font, or you may have to expand and share only half of the side. Okay, we are not doing this one. Let's go to chapter 2, Atma or Paramatma.
Is it reading?
Yeah.
Is it big enough?
Okay. So again, most of these chapters will have multiple characters. So there's 2 characters in this one again. So let's see. Arun ji, aap Prabhakar ka kar lijiye, or Amit ji, you read the Yogendradev part.
So इसमें शुरू वाला कौन पढ़ेगा? You want me to read the starting piece as well?
Yeah, there's also this one page. So let's a third person do that. Who can do it? Dinesh Burarji, can you read the first 2-3 paragraphs of this?
अपभ्रंश के महाकवि अध्यात्मवेत्ता मुनिराज योगिंदु के जीवन के बारे में विशेष जानकारी अभी तक उपलब्ध नहीं है। उनके नाम का भी कई तरह से उल्लेख मिलता है, जैसे योगिंदु, योगेंद्र, पर अपभ्रंश के जोइंदु का संस्कृत अनुवाद योगिंदु ठीक बैठता है, योगिंद्र नहीं। वाओ, दिस स्टफ। योगिंदु के समय के बारे में भी विभिन्न मत है। इनका काल 6वीं शताब्दी से लेकर 11वीं शताब्दी तक माना जाता है। आपके ग्रंथों पर कुंद कुंद का प्रभाव स्पष्ट लक्षित होता है। योगिंदु ने कुंद कुंद से बहुत कुछ लिया है। पूज्यपाद के समाधि शतक और योगिंदु के परमात्मा प्रकाश में भी घनिष्ठ समानता दिखाई देती है। इनके द्वारा बनाए गए परमात्मा प्रकाश, परम पयासु और जोगसारु ही उनकी कीर्ति के अक्षय भंडार है। इन ग्रंथों में उन्होंने अध्यात्म के गूढ़ तत्वों को सहज और सरल लोक भाषा में जनता के समक्ष रखा है। प्रस्तुत पाठ उक्त ग्रंथों के आधार पर लिखा गया है। आत्मा
नहीं, एक मिनट, इसके पहले हम थोड़ा ये समझ लेते हैं, just so you guys know, every chapter will have this. This obviously the books are written with Dr. Bharilji, but he always gives the background of the original author. These chapters are coming out of different agams or agam se आई हुई books, right? So uske kaun author the? There is always research on these different authors, what their life was like, which time they existed and all those, right? So if whatever is available, he tries to mention here, so you get introduced to the original authors also. The advantage of that is that when you understand कि ये author किस तरह से लिखता है, do you kind of agree with his style, then it gives you that freedom that, okay, go ahead and you can read more books from the same author. Just like we do in literature, right? Some people like to read certain authors and they always try to find books from that author because each author has their own style of writing. तो यहाँ पर पहले तो उनके नाम के बारे में बताया कि वो योगिंदु seems like that would be an appropriate name. You know, again, just like we do research in literature, you find so many books where there are references and you come up with a summary of all that. So different people have written different things about Yogindu, this author, original author. Or his style of writing showed when it says Kund Kund ka Prabhav, Kund Kund Acharya wrote all the 6 Parmagams. Okay, so his Kund Kund wrote all the soul-related stuff more. So what they're saying is that this author Yogindu is also writing, his writings sort of depict Kundacharya's style of writing. Now, Ujjapad ke Samadhi Shalgat or Yogindu ki Paramatma Prakash. So Pujyapad is another author. His book is Samadhi Shatak. And this author Yogindu, his book is Paramatma Prakash. So they are very similar, is what he's trying to say. Now, this author has taken this chapter Atma or Paramatma from Yogindu's book Paramatma Prakash or Param Pyasu or Yog Sar. So this chapter is from these couple of multiple books. उसमें क्या नहीं, sorry, basically they're saying these are the few books that are popular of this author: Paramatma Prakash, Param Pyasu, and Yogsar. And in the parentheses are the words, same book, Paramatma Prakash is also known as Param Pyasu. Same way, Yogsar is also known as Jogsaru. So he's talking about these two books. Now, in ग्रंथों में उन्होंने अध्यात्म का गूढ़ तत्वों को सहज और सरल लोक भाषा में जनता के, whenever the word adhyatma comes, adhyatma English translation is spiritual or anything related to the soul. Okay? So this author has written adhyatma related knowledge in simple local language. Now the local languages change. So local languages of back in those times and is not anymore local. So we have to now explain it in simple Hindi and stuff like that, okay? Then he's explaining that this particular part, Dr. Bharel has taken from those two books, which is Paramatma Prakash and Yogsar, okay? So now we come to the chapters and let's share that, and the two people that I said can read. And you can start with reading the title.
अरुण जी आप प्रभाकर कर रहे हैं, मैं योगेंद्र.
I think I was supposed to be Prabhakar, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
आत्मा और परमात्मा. हे गुरुदेव, आत्मा और परमात्मा का स्वरूप क्या है, कृपा कर समझाइए, क्योंकि कल आपने कहा था कि यह आत्मा अपने स्वरूप को भूलकर दुखी हो रहा है.
योगेंद्र देव, हे प्रभाकर भट्ट, आत्मा को समझने की इच्छा तुम जैसे मुमुक्षुओं के ही होती है. जिसने चेतन स्वरूप आत्मा की बात प्रसन्न चित्त से सुनी, वह अल्पकाल में ही परमात्मा पद को प्राप्त करेगा. आत्मज्ञान के समान दूसरा कोई सार नहीं है. ज्ञान स्वभावी जीव तत्व को ही आत्मा कहते हैं. वह अवस्था की अपेक्षा 3 प्रकार का होता है. एक बहिरात्मा, दूसरा अंतरात्मा और तीसरा परमात्मा.
बहिरात्मा किसे कहते हैं?
शरीर को आत्मा तथा अन्य पदार्थों और रागादि में अपनापन मानने वाला यह शरीर और आत्मा को एक मानने वाला जीव ही बहिरात्मा है. वह अज्ञानी मिथ्या दृष्टि है. आत्मा को छोड़कर अन्य बाह्य पदार्थों में आत्मपन यानी कि अपनापन मानने के कारण ही यह बहिरात्मा कहलाता है. अनादिकाल से यह आत्मा शरीर की उत्पत्ति में ही अपनी उत्पत्ति और शरीर के नाश में ही अपना नाश तथा शरीर के से संबंध रखने वालों को अपना मानता आ रहा है. जब तक यह भूल न निकले तब तक जीव बहिरात्मा अर्थात मिथ्या दृष्टि रहता है.
Okay, let us stop sharing. Let's understand that first, okay? Okay. So यहाँ क्या बताया कि हम कौन हैं? पहले तो प्रभाकर पूछता है कि आत्मा और परमात्मा का स्वरूप क्या है. Right? We have all heard the terms Atma and we have heard the term Paramatma. Anybody who has not heard that term? हम परमात्मा किसको समझते हैं?
सिद्ध आत्मा को परमात्मा,
भगवान को basically, yes. So क्या बता? So this student is asking कि आत्मा और परमात्मा का स्वरूप क्या है? स्वरूप, whenever we use the word स्वरूप, it means the true nature of things. True nature of Atma and Paramatma is what he's asking. That, hey, please explain to me what exactly is Atma and what is this Paramatma? Then because he says कि yesterday you said कि आत्मा अपने स्वरूप को भूल कर दुखी हो. So it's like, okay, how do you forget Atma? That's what, because somebody said that to him. So he's saying, so if you're telling me कि Atma has forgotten its true nature, and that is why it is dukhi, matlab unhappy. So this student doesn't understand कि मैंने क्या भूल गया? Like, what did I forget? So explain to me what is Atma and what is Dharma. So Yogendu Dev, which is the Acharya, वो बोलते हैं कि the fact that you have asked me this question, or you even have the slightest interest in knowing Atma, tells me that in the near future you will reach the ultimate moksha. So because see, think about it. How many millions and billions or whatever number of people that exist? What a small percentage even thinks of who am I, right? Those who think who am I, how many actually venture into finding out who am I, where did I come from, where am I going to go, all those kind of questions. So the Acharya is saying कि the fact कि आपको ये इच्छा भी हो रही है कि मैं जानूं ऐसी बात, that itself is a big deal. कि आपको something nice is going to happen to you, इसलिए आपके दिमाग में भी ये क्वेश्चन आया है.
प्रभा जी, इसमें मुमुक्षु का क्या मतलब?
हाँ, तो वही मैं बता रही हूँ. मुमुक्षु मतलब जिसको मोक्ष की इच्छा है,
जिज्ञासा है,
जिज्ञासा, इच्छा. जिसको मोक्ष की इच्छा होगी वो it will do the effort towards it.
हम मुमुक्षु हैं.
हाँ, the fact that आप इस क्लास में आए हो तो आप मुमुक्षु हो. You wanted to know. Okay. फिर जिसे चेतन स्वरूप आत्मा, चेतन स्वरूप क्यों कहा? आत्मा चेतन is one of the characteristics, right? Remember we studied पुद्गल के क्या characteristics है? Color, taste, touch. So आत्मा के characteristics है, चेतन is one of them, knowledge is another one of them. So चेतन स्वरूप आत्मा की बात प्रसन्न चित्त से सुनो. Okay. So if I was taking this class for, let's say, kids, they're not always prasanna chitt. Guess why? कई बार बच्चों को पेरेंट्स ने धक्का देके पाठशाला भेजा होता है. And they are like frowning because I really didn't want to come to this class. My parents pushed me to come to this class. Hopefully, this is not happening to you adults. Okay. I mean, yeah, maybe some are pushed by their wives or husbands, and that's okay. But the adults, at least if they've come here, they are happy to learn this knowledge. Okay. So they're just adding this characteristics कि अगर आप happily ये बात सुनने आए हो तो आपका अल्पकाल में ही परमात्मा पद को प्राप्त होगा. So you will reach the ultimate moksha in relatively short period of time. Okay. अब आत्मज्ञान के समान दूसरा कोई सार नहीं है. सार मतलब the gist of life is the Atma knowledge, knowledge of the soul. There is so much knowledge available to you. Knowledge of physics, chemistry, biology, astrology, whatever. I mean, there's Jain geography, there's palmistry. But compared to all of those, the soul knowledge is the utmost, right? All the other things will just keep you in the world. Only the soul knowledge will take you out of it. So, ज्ञान स्वभावी जीव तत्व को ही आत्मा कहते हैं. So, what is he saying here? Is जीव तत्व?
No. Dravya.
Yes,
Tattva. Yes. Tattva. Yes. Jeev is a tattva. Yes.
just think the 6 dravyas and
Yes.
7 tattvas.
6th Dravya has Jeev. Tattva also has
Yes,
Jeev.
6 dravya has jeev and
Jeev is both
Tattva
tattva and
has-
dravya.
dravya and tattva both. Yes. Okay,
Correct.
so it's not wrong to say कि जीव तत्व को ही आत्मा कहते हैं. ठीक है. अब ज्ञान स्वभाव ही क्यों ऐड किया उसमें? One of its primary is
Primary
knowing.
attributes.
Primary attribute is knowledge, knowing. Okay, और वह अवस्था. When we say अवस्था, पर्याय, all those are synonyms. अवस्था means the current status. All right, की अपेक्षा 3 प्रकार का होता है. तो आत्मा is one. Its state can be multiple, different. It's the same atma that can be Bahiratma, that can change into Antaratma and then change into Paramatma. All right. So they're saying there is 3 avastha of that Atma: Bahiratma, Antaratma और Paramatma. तो फिर वो शिष्य पूछता है कि बहिरात्मा किसे कहते हैं? So then the Guru is explaining कि बहिरात्मा are the people who associate themselves with this body. Do you think we are one of those?
Yes.
Yes.
Right now, we don't know any better. So we associate ourselves with the current physical body that we got. जो शरीर को ही आत्मा समझ लेते हैं. अब शरीर को आत्मा समझा तो शरीर के सारे एसोसिएशंस को अपना माना. राइट? अगर हम अपने आप को शरीर मानेंगे, how did we get the relatives? Soon after we were born, we found a mom, we found a dad, we found, as the life progressed, all the relations. तो जो लोग शरीर से अपनापन करते हैं और बाकी अन्य पदार्थों में राग आदि में अपनापन मानते हैं, they think that it is correct to have attachment towards your kids, have attachment towards your relatives, that. तो वो अज्ञानी मिथ्या दृष्टि है. तो जो बहिरात्मा का एक और सिनोनिम क्या दिया? What is the word we just read?
Ajnani mithya drishti.
Yes. So बहिरात्मा is also अज्ञानी and मिथ्या दृष्टि, क्योंकि वो शरीर और आत्मा को एक ही मानता है. He doesn't realize that they are 2 separate entities. All right? आत्मा को छोड़कर अन्य बाह्य पदार्थों में अपनापन करना मानने के कारण ही वो बहिरात्मा. If he would leave his association with anything related to the body, then he'll become Antaratma. Because right now he thinks me means this body and my kids and my family and my house and my money and all my possessions, which is actually not true. That is not you. Or since when have we done that? Anadikal se, infinite past से हम यही करते हैं. क्या करते आए हैं? सपोज हम कीड़ा पैदा हो गए, तो जो कीड़ा अपना शरीर था ना, उसी को मैं मान लिया. एंड देन यू डोंट वांट टू लीव दैट बॉडी. राइट? हाथी की पर्याय में पैदा हो गए, तो जो हाथी का बॉडी है वो मैं हूं, ऐसा समझ लिया. देवता में चले गए तो देवता का जो शरीर मिला उसको मैं समझ लिया. राइट? सो दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव डन सिंस टाइम, infinite past, time immemorial. Okay? Now, अब क्योंकि हम अनादिकाल से ये गलती करते आ रहे हैं, suddenly now we got awakened that maybe we need to do something about this mistake. And that's how we ended up in this class, to find out what mistake are we making and how can we fix it. So, अनादिकाल से ये आत्मा शरीर की उत्पत्ति में ही अपनी उत्पत्ति और शरीर के नाश में ही अपना नाश समझता है. And we all do that, right? कोई मर गया तो दुख क्यों होता है? क्यों हमें लगता है कि उसका नाश हो गया, which is not true. That soul lives on. Just it's not in front of you. जैसे आपका बच्चा अभी कोई और कंट्री में है, उसका नाश हो गया? नहीं. You know he exists somewhere, right? तो हमें दुख नहीं होता है, क्योंकि हमें पता है कि वो है कहीं पर, just मेरी आंखों के सामने नहीं है. And it's the same way कि जब शरीर छोड़ के कोई चला जाता है तो वो फिर भी कहीं ना कहीं यूनिवर्स में है. सिर्फ उसकी ये पर्याय इस करंट शरीर वाली पर्याय चली गई है। ठीक है, तो जब वो उस शरीर में अपनापन नहीं करेगा तो शरीर की उत्पत्ति में अपनी उत्पत्ति नहीं समझेगा, शरीर के नाश में अपना नाश नहीं समझेगा, और यही उसकी अनादिकाल से भूल चलती आ रही है। So if I don't associate myself with the soul and keep associating with myself with the body, what happens? Every time I take a new body, I get attached to the new body, I get attached to its relations, to its possessions, and keep being unhappy for myself. Versus if I would attach myself to the soul, then guess what happens? I live on forever and ever and ever. And if I am immersed in the attributes of my soul, I have a way to be happy unconditionally and forever. Everybody with me so far?
Yes.
So now let's read about the next Antaratma.
बहिरात्मपन छोड़ना चाहिए, यह तो ठीक, पर
बहिरात्मापन छोड़कर अंतरात्मा बनना चाहिए। जो व्यक्ति भेद विज्ञान के बल से आत्मा को देहादिक से भिन्न ज्ञान और आनंद स्वभावी जानता है, मानता है और अनुभव करता है, वह ज्ञानी सम्यक दृष्टि आत्मा ही अंतरात्मा है। आत्मा में ही आत्मपन अर्थात अपनापन मानने के कारण तथा आत्मा के अतिरिक्त अन्य किसी में भी अपनापन की मान्यता छोड़ देने के कारण ही वह अंतरात्मा कहलाता है। अंतरात्मा 3 प्रकार के होते हैं। पहला उत्तम अंतरात्मा, दूसरा मध्यम अंतरात्मा, तीसरा जगन्य अंतरात्मा। अंतरंग और बहिरंग दोनों प्रकार के परिग्रह से रहित उत्कृष्ट शुद्धोपयोगी क्षीण कषाय मुनि 12वें गुण स्थानवर्ती उत्तम अंतरात्मा है। अविरत सम्यक दृष्टि चौथे गुण स्थानवर्ती जगन्य अंतरात्मा है। उक्त दोनों की मध्य दशावृत्ति देशव्रती श्रावक और मुनिराज 5वें से 11वें गुण स्थानवर्ती मध्यम अंतरात्मा है।
अंतरात्मा बनने से लाभ क्या है?
यही अंतरात्मा गृहस्थावस्था त्याग कर शुद्धोपयोग रूप मुनि अवस्था धारण कर निज स्वभाव साधन द्वारा परमात्मा पद प्राप्त करता है, अर्थात परमात्मा बन जाता है, और इसके अनंत दर्शन, अनंत ज्ञान, अनंत सुख और अनंत वीर्य प्रकट हो जाते हैं। तात्पर्य यह है कि यही अंतरात्मा अपने पुरुषार्थ द्वारा आगे बढ़कर परमात्मा बनता है।
Okay, let's stop there and I'll explain. Okay, so we understood what is Bahiratma, right? So the next step is Antaratma. और अंतरात्मा किसको कहते हैं? The person who has now started associating himself with the soul. To him, me means the soul. Not anymore this Dipali or Viraj. No. Of course, in general terms, he will call himself that, but he knows that that body is not me because it's temporary, it's going to go away. The me is the soul. Okay? So that is what his association is. His behavior doesn't have to change, but his internal association changes. He realizes that I am this soul. I'm not this body. I am this soul which existed forever past and will exist forever in the future. So then he understands that, okay, this body is a temporary mode of life, which I have to go through. So why take this stress, right? So जो अंतरात्मा होता है वो he understands the Bhed Vigyan. Bhed Vigyan means the differentiation between the soul and the body, right? तो वो क्या करता है? With that, because the different with being able to understand the differentiation, it gets the strength of not being associated with this body and able to experience the knowledge and happiness from the soul. Right? How do you experience something? When you think it is me, और उसी को वो अनुभव कर सकता है, वह ज्ञानी सम्यक दृष्टि आत्मा ही अंतरात्मा है. When they say ज्ञानी and सम्यक दृष्टि, they mean person who has experienced his soul. To some extent, we are also experiencing ourselves because we are knowing everything. Even something I don't know, who is knowing that? That is the soul. It's just that we don't associate ourselves with it. It's not that we are not experiencing it. Even currently, we are experiencing our soul. It's the soul that is knowing anything. It's just that we don't think that is me. And that is our big mistake. So, वो जो experienced soul है, and the person and whoever has associated the me, my pana with the soul is the antaratma. आत्मा में ही आत्मपन अर्थात अपनापन मानने के कारण तथा आत्मा के अतिरिक्त अन्य किसी में अपनापन नहीं मानना. Okay, so it is like कि my child is my child, but my neighbor's child is not my child. We know that very well. We understand the association and disassociation. So it's the same kind of association and disassociation with body and soul. So the soul is me, the body. Yes, I'm taking care of it. I'm with it all the time, yet it is not me. Okay, so just like a neighbor's child is not mine, yet if its parents are away, they gave me the responsibility of taking care of their child, I would do it. Yet still never have this doubt in my mind that that neighbor's child is mine. So it's the same way here. You are associating yourself with your soul, and the body is like a neighbor that, yes, it exists with you. You take care of it, you do all your duties, yet you don't think it's you. So that is the state of the antaratma.
So, Auntie, is it fair to say that, so you said we are always experiencing the soul, because without the soul, we would not know anything.
Yes.
But the fundamental issue is that we are identifying with the body and not with the soul. If we identified with the soul, then we wouldn't be here anymore. But if we
identify with the soul, right, then you would actually be experiencing the soul, even deeply. Even right now you're experiencing, but you're not associating with it.
Yeah. We're not identifying with it.
Not identifying with yourself. So that's the difference. Of course, if you're knowing, you're obviously experiencing the soul, because knowing doesn't exist in the matter, in the Pudgal. It's not one of the attributes of the Pudgal, right? So the Pudgal cannot know, only soul can know. Now they talk about the three different types of Antaratma, Uttam, Madhyam, and Jaganya. So those are the different stages of the soul, the progressing soul, right? So initially, it just simply experiences itself like for a second or two, and then because once it experiences that happiness of being with itself, it wants to be more and more with itself. So the initial state is called Jaganya Antaratma. Then in between stage, which is once you take the Sadhupana after being Sadhu, is called Madhyam Antaratma. And then the highest stage, which is more close to Paramatma, is called Uttam Antaratma. Now they've talked about some Gunisthans. Again, Gunisthan is the stage of the progressing Atma. And I will not explain more than that because we will study the book on Gunisthan later on. Okay? And those who understand or have heard the terms Chautha Gunisthan, Barwa Gunisthan, then you can relate to it. Okay. And just to give you a general idea, they're saying ki Muniraj 5वें से 11वें गुण स्थानवर्ती, मुनिराज 6वें से 11वें 12वें गुण स्थान तक होते हैं, right? So they're just kind of just a different way of explaining, kind of further dividing it into 3 parts. Okay. Now, why should you be Antaratma? What is the advantage of doing that? So, Antaratma, because once you associate yourself with your soul, then you feel like further progressing, which is then you try to give up your worldly affairs and try to become Muni so that you don't have any other duties to do left. And you can simply completely have the opportunity to be immersed in your soul. अब मुनि अवस्था धारण कर निज स्वभाव साधन द्वारा, निज स्वभाव साधन, here they are trying to say being able to be immersed in your soul, meditating, ठीक है, द्वारा परमात्मा पद प्राप्त करता है, which means the eventual state is to be in the soul for a very long time. Usually the soul is not able to be in that experience for very long. So it has to progress with deeper meditation. And that is when you get the Paramatma Pad, which is infinite perception, infinite knowledge, infinite happiness, infinite. Virya means power, ability, energy. Okay? So all those things automatically come into presence because they already exist. Where will they come from if they didn't exist in the soul? So basically, and then this Antaratma with further, efforts becomes the Paramatma. Okay, everybody with me? Any questions? Antaratma samajh gaya? Everybody ready to be Antaratma?
So Paramatma. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Prabhu ji, एक क्वेश्चन था, ये शुद्धोपयोगी क्षीण कषाय मुनि का मतलब क्या हुआ?
Okay, so देखो, शुद्धोपयोगी means in your pure soul experience. Sheen Kashai Muni, that is the name for that stage of the soul, which means uski Kashai pehle to Muni. That means it's a person who has taken Diksha. Right? Then his Kashai, कौन से हमने 4 कषाय का चैप्टर पढ़ लिया क्या अभी?
4 कषाय, राग लोभ, राग द्वेष लोभ और
Maya, Moha, Lobh, and Rag. Yeah.
क्रोध, मान, माया,
क्रोध, मान, माया, लोभ.
Right? Okay. So जो 4 कषाय हैं, जिसको इंग्लिश में हम पैशंस भी कह देते हैं, तो वो उनके क्षीण means very diluted. So by the time they reach that stage, their kashai is almost next to nothing.
Okay.
That whole term is just an explanation of that state of the soul. When it has progressed so much that there is no krodh, man, maya, lobh, almost none existing there.
Understood.
प्रभा जी वो शुद्धोपयोगी का दोबारा बता देंगे? You said that in English.
शुद्धोपयोगी means it is in the immersed in the true pure nature of soul. Its attention is only on the soul. Upyog means attention. Where is my focus?
So Prabhanti, that and if Paramatma is beyond all Gunastan, right? It's after the 14th Gunastan par ho gaya, to Paramatma ho jata.
Right. So at the end of the day, it's how long you are able to be with yourself, with your true nature. And those are the different stages eventually, when you reach the Paramatma. Okay, so let's read further about Paramatma now.
परमात्मा बनने से क्या लाभ है?
प्रत्येक आत्मा सुखी होना चाहता है। परमात्मा पूर्ण निराकुल होने से अनंत सुखी है। परमात्मा 2 प्रकार के होते हैं, सकल परमात्मा, निकल परमात्मा। चार घातिया कर्मों का अभाव करने वाले श्री अरहंत भगवान को शरीर सहित होने से सकल परमात्मा कहते हैं और कर्मों से रहित सिद्ध भगवान को शरीर रहित होने से निकल परमात्मा कहते हैं। बहिरात्मा संसार मार्गी होने से बहिरात्मापन सर्वथा हेय है। अंतरात्मा मुक्ति मार्ग का प्रतीक है। अतः अंतरात्मापन कथनचित उपादेय है तथा परमात्मापन अतीन्द्रिय सुखमय होने से सर्वथा उपादेय है। अतः सबको पुरुषार्थ पूर्वक बहिरात्मापन छोड़कर अंतरात्मा बनकर परमात्मा बनने की भावना करनी चाहिए।
Okay. Let's stop sharing. And first, I will try to, I want you to write notes on some of the new terminologies that have come in this paragraphs. Okay. So, पहले तो बताया परमात्मा बनने का क्या लाभ है. Why should you try to become Paramatma? And as we keep repeating, and we have started, from the beginning of this course, is कि हम क्यों ये सब सीखने आए हैं. Everybody wants to be happy. Nobody wants to live in a sorrow, right? But we all know any kind of happiness we've gotten has always been temporary, and either temporary or dependent on something, right? I wouldn't be happy, let's say I didn't have whatever my possessions are, or to make me happy, I need another person to praise me, or to make me happy, I need to go on a vacation. There's always some dependency. Or even if I'm happy, it's always temporary. Somehow that particular happiness is taken away from me. Then I'm again longing for another happiness, doing something else to make myself happy. And then, okay, I'm a little bit happy. Then again, that is gone, and you keep on and on and on like that. So everybody is looking for permanent, unconditional happiness. And that is what the state of Paramatma is. So, Paramatma पूर्ण निराकुल होने से अनंत सुखी है. Nirakul is a word that means akulta nahi. Akulta is like stress, any kind of mild infliction of pain related to that. Okay. So, Nirakul means no stress. And again, this is kind of loosely explaining in English. These are not exact translations. परमात्मा दो प्रकार के होते हैं, सकल और निकल. सकल means with body, nikal means without body. So I want you to make your own little glossary, write the explanations of sakal and nikal. फिर चार घातिया कर्मों. Have we done घातिया and अघातिया कर्म? Who knows what is चार घातिया कर्म?
ज्ञानावर्णीय, तृष्णावर्णीय, मोहनीय, अंतराय.
Very good. And why are they called घातिया?
They affect the soul directly.
They don't let the soul's attributes come into existence. They're sort of covering, right? Right now, everything is not visible, everything is not present.
Obscures, okay.
Obscure, right. Now, what is aghati karma? We learned about
Aghati,
aghati karma.
nama karma, gotra karma, ayu karma, vedaniya karma.
Very good job, Bahubali ji. Okay, and it's not just going to be one student answering. Everybody should know this. You're all in this together, right? So if I see only one student answering, I'll make sure I ask somebody else. Okay. So that's a घाती and a घाती karma, right? Now, so परमात्मा का क्या होता है? जब वो चार घाती कर्म निकल जाते हैं, तो he becomes which kind of परमात्मा?
Sakal.
चिक लगाओ. The first four are obscuring attributes of Atma.
Yes.
And what happens to the body? Body still exists. And what is Paramatma? With body.
The body.
All right. So the 4 karmas go away. He's Paramatma, but he's Sakal Paramatma.
अरिहंत परमात्मा.
हाँ, अरिहंत परमात्मा.
Aryant.
अरिहंत, उसमें तीर्थंकर व नाम गोत्र वाले तीर्थंकर, उनको सब वो जो 4 निकल गए तो अनंत ज्ञान दर्शन वीर्य वो जो ऊपर हमने पढ़ा वो है, बट बॉडी फिर भी है. एज लॉन्ग एज द बॉडी इज देयर, other 4 karmas of the नाम गोत्र वेदनीय, those will exist. ठीक है. Now once he leaves the body, then all the karmas related to the body are also gone. So then Siddha Bhagwan has none of those karmas. All 8 are gone. And then Siddha Paramatma is also called Nikal Paramatma because he doesn't have the body. Now there's few more terms here. Last paragraph में बहिरात्मा संसार मार्गी होने से बहिरात्मपन सर्वथा हेय है. संसार मार्गी क्या हुआ?
Day-to-day life. In day-to-day life.
Day-to-day life.
Is
Right?
in the world.
Because Bahiratma is trying to focus on the worldly life. So that type of person is always, that type of attitude, let me say that, is always worth heya. Heya means chhodne yogya, worth leaving, worth quitting. So make your own glossary. Heya word means worth leaving, chhodne yogya.
But यहाँ पे सर्वथा है, उसका मीनिंग ये नहीं होगा कि सब जगह है.
Sarvata means always.
Always.
It's never worth being attached to this world.
आप सर्वत्र का बोल रहे हैं जो सब जगह है. उन्होंने जो मीनिंग बोला उसका वर्ड इज
सर्वत्र word, right, which is ever present, that type of, yeah, no, this is sarvata means always.
Always.
Yes. Now, antaratma mukti marg ka pathik hai. That means it's in the process of the mukti, the road to progress, path to liberation. Atah antaratmapan kathanchit upadeya hai. See, because it's an in-between stage. Kathanchit means with some apeksha, with some viewpoint. Upadeya means worth accepting. Okay. So the in-between antaratma stage is worth accepting when you're going from Bahiratma to Antaratma, but worth leaving when you're going from Antaratma to Paramatma. Right? To go to step 4, you have to leave the step 3. So in that perspective, it's worth leaving. But when you're going from step 2 to step 3, it is worth accepting.
Right.
Did you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. तथा परमात्मपन अतीन्द्रिय सुखमय होने से सर्वथा उपादेय है. Because eventual state is the Paramatmapan, which is forever happiness. It's always worth accepting, always worth. Got it? So then what should be your goal? अतः सबको पुरुषार्थ पूर्वक बहिरात्मपन छोड़कर अंतरात्मा बनकर परमात्मा बनने की भावना भानी चाहिए. So what does that mean? Now that you understood what are the advantages, what is the why we should do this, then you put your efforts towards leaving the Bhairatmapan, going towards Antaratma, and eventually Parma. Just like in the worldly affairs, anything we want to accomplish, what do? We put our efforts towards it. Right? So, okay. So we're done with this chapter. How much time we have? Do you think we should start with Sattva today?
We have 15 minutes.
Huh?
We have 15 minutes, so maybe we can,
let's do. Even if we do half of it, it's fine, and maybe we'll do full. So Sattva.
Prabhaji,
yes. Yeah.
what does Upaday mean?
Upadaya means worth accepting.
Worth accepting.
Heya means worth leaving.
Leaving,
Upadaya
right.
worth accepting, yes.
Are there two words for worth accepting, upanchit and upadai?
No, Kathanchit means with some perspective. The two words are Heya and Upadaya. And then there is a third word which is not mentioned here, which is Geya. Geya means just worth knowing. You don't have to accept it or reject it, just know it. That's it.
Sorry, Kathanchit was what?
With some perspective.
With some.
That means not always. Okay, so the Sat Tattva, who has not read yet? Safalta.
I haven't.
Okay, so Safalta, you read that first, that initial page, introduction of the author. Then Pravachankar, whoever just said, I haven't read, go ahead. And then the Mumukshu, can you read Hindi, Viraj?
A little difficult. I'll just have to get used to it a little bit.
Okay, no problem. So who else is left to read? Dinesh. Dinesh, Dipali wala Dinesh.
Yep.
All right. Okay, go ahead, start.
तत्वार्थ सूत्र कर्तारम.
Okay, I'll say you repeat. I know these are not easy to read. Tatvartha sutra kartaram gadda pichopalakshitam.
तत्वार्थ सूत्र कर्तारम गृध्र पिच्छोपलक्षितम वंदे गणेन्द्र. Sorry.
You can break it and read because that's a very long word. Vande Ganendra Sanjata Muma Swami Munishwaram.
वंदे गणेन्द्र संजात ममा स्वमिमुनीश्वरम.
Okay, go ahead.
कम से कम लिखकर अधिक से अधिक प्रसिद्धि पाने वाले आचार्य गृध्रपिच्छ उमा स्वामी ने तत्वार्थ सूत्र से जैन समाज जितना अधिक परिचित है, उनके जीवन परिचय के संबंध में उतना ही अपरिचित है. ये कुंदाचार्य के पट्ट शिष्य थे तथा विक्रम की प्रथम शताब्दी के अंतिम काल में तथा द्वितीय शताब्दी के पूर्वार्ध में भारत भूमि को पवित्र कर रहे थे. आचार्य गृध्रपिच्छ उमा स्वामी उन गौरवशाली आचार्यों में है जिन्हें समग्र आचार्य परंपरा में पूर्ण प्रामाणिकता और सम्मान प्राप्त है. जो महत्व वैदिकों में गीता का, ईसाइयों में बाइबल का और मुसलमानों में कुरान का माना जाता है, वही महत्व जैन परंपरा में गृध्रपिच्छ उमा स्वामी के तत्वार्थ सूत्र को प्राप्त है. इसका दूसरा नाम मोक्ष शास्त्र भी है. यह संस्कृत भाषा का सर्वप्रथम जैन ग्रंथ है. यह ग्रंथराज जैन समाज द्वारा संचालित सभी परीक्षा बोर्डों के पाठ्यक्रमों में निर्धारित है और सारे भारतवर्ष के जैन विद्यालयों में पढ़ाया जाता है.
Let's stop sharing. So again, like every chapter, Dr. Bharilji, he gives an basically brief introduction to the original author from the book, from where he has written this chapter. Okay, so the book he has written this chapter is Tatvarth Sutra. So first what he's saying is that this author, Jo Gridhapich, means, Digambar sadhus have this peacock feather, this thing, pichi it's called. So ye Gridh जानवर के feathers की बनाई हुई पीछे use करते थे, right? So it's not important, but that's what it means. Okay. Now he
so Gridha means peacock. Gridha picha.
It's some other word.
Oh, okay.
Is that vulture?
Gidda, yeah, Gidda, Gridha, yeah, maybe vulture.
Yeah. No, vulture is Gidd. Gridha may be something different. So, okay.
Garu?
Now,
Garu?
maybe, I'm not sure. But Gidda means, Gidda is a different, it's that big bird. Gridha, not sure exactly which bird it is, but some other bird other than peacock. Okay. Now, he was direct shishya of Kundukunda Acharya. And Kundukunda Acharya is the original author of all the, not author in that written sense, but originally Kundukunda Acharya is the one who wrote all the Param Agams. We discussed that we are going to study Param Agams. The Agams are many, which have a lot of different knowledge, including Jyotishi, geography, biology, science, lot of things. But we are going to focus on Paramagams, which focus more on the soul. Okay. So, उन्होंने तो 6 परमागम लिखे कुंदकुंदाचार्य ने, which was mostly the knowledge of soul, primarily focusing on that. Now, his own Shishya Uma Swami, he decided to write a Tattvat Sutra, which covers a lot more than just the soul. Okay. And because it has a lot of knowledge of basics, fundamentals of Jainism, it is accepted by all paramparas. See, otherwise, Agams are sort of different in Shwetambar, different in Digambars. But this particular book, Tattvat Sutra, is accepted by all sects of Jainism. And that's why it is popular. So basically, they've compared it with Gita, as in Hindus, Gita is one book people go to get that knowledge of Hinduism. Same way, if you were to say one book for Christianity, they will say Bible. So this Tattva Sutra is kind of compared with those books. And is also taught in any course in Jainism in the universities. So this particular chapter is taken from Tattva Sutra. Okay. Now we will also read more chapters of that Tattva Sutra book itself in the future. For now, let's start with this Tattva. Okay, go ahead. या प्रवचनकार कौन पढ़ने वाले थे? Somebody,
I can read it, Pravachan.
Somebody else volunteered for it. Okay, don't worry about it. You both read then, Dipali and Dinesh.
प्रवचनकार, 7 तत्व। संसार में समस्त प्राणी दुखी दिखाई देते हैं और वे दुख से बचने का उपाय भी करते हैं, परंतु प्रयोजनभूत तत्वों की सही जानकारी एवं श्रद्धा के बिना दुख दूर होता नहीं।
And then Mumukshi says, ये प्रयोजनभूत तत्व क्या है जिनकी जानकारी और सही श्रद्धा के बिना दुख दूर नहीं हो सकता।
दुख दूर करना और सुखी होना ही सच्चा प्रयोजन है, और ऐसे तत्व जिनकी सम्यक श्रद्धा और ज्ञान बिना हमारा दुख दूर न हो सके और हम सुखी न हो सके, उन्हें ही प्रयोजनभूत तत्व कहते हैं। तत्व माने वस्तु का सच्चा स्वरूप, जो वस्तु जैसी है उसका जो भाव वही तत्व है। वे तत्व 7 होते हैं, जैसे कि तत्वार्थ सूत्र में आचार्य गृद्धपिच्छ उमा स्वामी ने कहा है, जीवा जीवा सन्नबद्ध
जीवा जीवा
Okay, I will speak and you
nijra mokshas tattvam.
Yeah. Or if you try to sing it, it's a little easier.
Yeah.
Jiva jiva shrivabandha sambhara mokshas tattvam. Go ahead. Read it again.
जीवा 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 जीवा
Ashrava.
आश्रव।
Ashrav, basically, that's what they're trying to say. Okay, go ahead.
जीवा जीवाश्रव बंध संवर निर्जर मोक्ष तत्वम।
जीव अजीव आसव, बंद, आश्रव, बंध, संवर, निर्जरा और मोक्ष, ये 7 तत्व है। उस प्रश्न करता
Yeah. So
संक्षेप में इनका
कृपया संक्षेप में इनका स्वरूप बताइए।
जीव तत्व ज्ञान दर्शन स्वभावी आत्मा को कहते हैं। ज्ञान दर्शन स्वभाव से रहित तथा आत्मा से भिन्न समस्त द्रव्य पदार्थ अजीव तत्व कहलाते हैं। पुद्गल आदि समस्त पदार्थ अजीव है। इन शरीरादि सभी अजीव पदार्थों से भिन्न चेतन तत्व ही आत्मा है। वह आत्मा ही मैं है। मुझसे भिन्न पुद्गल आदि 5 द्रव्य अजीव है। सामान्य रूप से ही जीव अजीव 2 ही तत्व है। आस्त्रवादिक तो जीव अजीव के ही विशेष है।
You can read that one, Dinesh.
Yeah. Shankakar.
Shankakar means somebody who is doubting. What is he asking?
Yeah. यदि आश्रववादिक जीव अजीव के ही विशेष है तो इनको पृथक पृथक क्यों कहा है?
प्रवचनकार, यहाँ तो मोक्ष का प्रयोजन है। अतः आश्रववादिक 5 पर्याय स्वरूप विशेष तत्व कहे। उन 7 के यथार्थ श्रद्धा बिना मोक्ष मार्ग नहीं बन सकता है, क्योंकि जीव और अजीव के जाने बिना अपने पराये का भेद विज्ञान कैसे हो। मोक्ष को पहचाने बिना और हित रूप माने बिना उसका उपाय कैसे करें? मोक्ष का उपाय संवर, निर्जरा है, अतः उनका जानना भी आवश्यक है। तथा आश्रव का अभाव सो संवर है और बंध का एक देश अभाव सो निर्जरा है। अतः इनके जाने बिना इनको छोड़ संवर निर्जरा रूप कैसे प्रवक्ते?
शंकाकार बोलते हैं, हमने तो प्रवचन में सुना था कि आत्मा तो त्रिकाल शुद्ध शुद्धाशुद्ध पर्यायों से पृथक है। वही आश्रय करने योग्य है।
भाई,
Stop. Let me explain till now, otherwise it will get too much over the head. Okay. So देखो यहाँ पर क्या, again same thing they start with कि everybody wants to be happy and they want to find a way to get out of the unhappiness or sorrow. ठीक है? Now परंतु प्रयोजन भूत means purposeful, something that attribute that helps in being happy. तो प्रयोजन भूत तत्वों को की सही जानकारी, जिसकी हमें proper knowledge होनी चाहिए. If we don't know that and if we don't have the right belief, then how can we remove the sorrow in the worldly sorrow? ठीक है? फिर then they ask कि कौन से हैं ये प्रयोजन भूत तत्व? तो see, because there is so much knowledge in the world, right? You can know about the space, you can know about so many different things, right? So, but what is the most important knowledge for me that will take me out of my worldly misery? So, ऐसे तत्व जिनकी सम्यक श्रद्धा, that you would believe in the real knowledge or ज्ञान, so real trust and knowledge, that is what will take away my unhappiness. और इसलिए उसी को प्रयोजन भूत तत्व कहते हैं. So that is the प्रयोजन भूत substances that I want to know. जो वस्तु जैसी है उसका जो भाव है वही तत्व है. So we are not trying to exaggerate. We are not trying to make it look anything less than what it is. You understand the things the way they are. Exactly. Okay? तो ये तत्व 7 होते हैं. Jeev, Ajeev, Ashrav, Band, Sambar, Nijra, or Moksha. So we have studied these names before. So then what he says is कि Jeev is the soul, it has its attributes. Ajiv is everything else. So basically, Ashrav, Ban, Samvar, Nirjara, and they are all Ajiv, even the Moksha, because Moksha is also this actually a state of Atma. Okay. Now, इस शरीर आदि सभी अजीब पदार्थों से भिन्न चेतन तत्व ही आत्मा है. Right? So it is different than Pudgal. And the 5 ajiv.
You're muted.
Yeah. Okay. So वो अजीब है. So see, ajiv is in both Dravya as well as what do you call
Tattva.
right? तो द्रव्यों में कौन से अजीब द्रव्य थे? 6 dravyas. Which are the 6 dravyas?
Jeev, Kal,
Akash, Dharmastika, Dharmastika. So all of them are Ajiv except for Jeev.
Right. So except Jeev, everything else is Ajiv in Dravya also. Pudgal, Dharmastika, Adharmastika, Akash or Kal. Okay. Same way here, except Jeev, everything else is Ajiv. Which means Ashrav, Bandh, Samvar, Nirjara, Moksha. All those are under Ajiv.
Auntie, what is Ashrav?
So that's what we're going to explain further.
Okay.
So what they're saying is, यदि सामान्य रूप से तो जीव अजीव 2 classifications, right? Now, आश्रवादी तो अजीव के ही विशेष भेद हैं. They are part of ajiv, all the rest of them. So now he says, what is ashrav? So ashrav is, then he explains, ashrav is part of the state of the soul, right? So you have a pure soul. Currently, it is in the impure state. Why? Because it has the influx of karmas. Influx of karmas is called ashrav.
It's called what?
Ashrav. So first you have to understand all the 7 tattvas, what they mean, how they apply, and what I need to do to get rid of it. Right? Okay. Then Jeev or Ajeev could, so now they're saying that why should we study all this ashrav and all these other things? So what then he's saying is, because if you don't study, how would you know the difference between me and non-me? Right? So, okay, so how will I understand what am I doing that is causing me to get more karmas and in turn keep me in this worldly jail? And if I don't understand Samvar and Nirjara, how would I understand how to get rid of it and how to come to the pure state? Okay. Now, Shankakar asked, हमने तो प्रवचन में सुना था कि आत्मा तो त्रिकाल शुद्ध शुद्धाशुद्ध पर्यायों से पृथक है, वही आश्रय करने योग्य है. So then he says that I have heard that you should only take the support of your pure soul. So then why are you explaining us about this ashrav and samvar and nirjara? Right? Okay. So we are out of time here, so we can stop right here, even though we've only done half the chapter. We'll finish the rest of the chapter in the next class. Is that okay?
Yes.
But for homework, you can read the rest of the chapter. You can come back with questions. And then we will do Shatabashyak, and then we'll go back to the first chapter, which is the long stuti. All right. Sahajanandi Shuddha Swarupi Avinashi Hu Atma Swarup. Sahajanandi Shuddha Swarupi Avinashi Hu Atma Swarup. Sahajanandi Shuddha Swarupi Avinashi Hu Atma Swarup. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है। इसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना शत बार है, वंदना शत बार है। जय जिनेन्द्र सभी को।
जय जय
जय जिनेन्द्र।